Kitchens are fun. I love kitchens. Like this one's a bit small, so I end up with funny things just sitting around, like in odd places, and dog food there. And this is my dishes and pizza. I'll put that away and chocolate. But you know what? I hate dishes in the sink. I hate dishes sitting around dirty. I'll do anything for like a little thing here, like a door, and you put your dishes on a rack and everything there. It goes out like that through the wall. Wash, comes out there on like a big door, like a big wall dishwasher thing, and you open the door and they're all lined on racks, and the racks go back around through the wall and pop back out over there ready. And it's like a carousel, and you can just leave them in there and use them as you want. Don't need to put them in cupboards. You can use the cupboards for other things. I'll do anything just for something like that in the wall, in that side wall. Not in this unit. I suppose you could, because there's nothing really that side, I don't think. I think there's just the outside wall that side. So you could put one in there, but you'd have a box sitting outside. I might obscure the window. I don't think there's anything next door that side except the elevators. So, but yeah, wouldn't that be fabulous in a new home? Have a carousel dishwasher that you don't really load or unload. You just sort of put things in as you go. You kind of, as you rinse them, you just stick them up there above the sink. They slide out on the single rack like this. Go around, wash, come down, and all come down the bottom. And then another one pops up, and you do that one, and they stack up like that. And then the one at the bottom, when it's empty, slides out, comes back around and pops out there. I'll do anything just for a cupboard there with all my dishes rinsed. And say cooking dinner, and you got all your dishes, you can just hit a button and they just do a quick hot rinse. So when they come out, they're hot. Wouldn't that be nice? Hot plates. They're all spotless, not all with dust in them. And I just like that idea of having things clean and tidy. I get a little bit messy, I leave little bits here and there, but eventually I'll get round to it and I'll spray it and wash it all down. This carpet, this side needs vacuuming. I haven't done this side yet. I did in there, but I'm quite happy with the lounge room like this now. The bed needs making, but Triggy's bed's good there. I like it there because he gets the sun and he can see out. He loves that little spot. He fell asleep today and didn't move. I've got to get a battery box because that cardboard box, technically if a little spark sort of caught on in there, it wouldn't, but nothing will move from there. But this is good as a little side table. And my neighbour gave me a coffee table. It's kind of a bit small for my keyboard and mouse, so I put the board on top with a blanket. I think that's perfect. I grew up in a house, we had blankets and things lying around and pillows, and it wasn't like a spotless clinical sort of surgery. It was homely. We had sort of, cats sitting around with fluff, and I just like odd sort of corners and weird stuff, Even a big plant sitting in the middle, even plants on the walls or something. Like, it'd be great head height in my house. I think I'd do this probably. I don't know how I'd water them. Probably have an automatic watering system. All the high parts, I don't like seeing stuff just boring. I like sort of plants all along the tops or corners or something, or hanging out like from the ceiling. I probably shouldn't, because I don't own this home, but look, if no one knows, I might just do the same here. Look for some nice sturdy, I think you can get the studs that go through the plaster and then open right out. These ones go through and just open a little bit. I'm just wondering if they're as stable as the other ones. So I'd love to put a few, I suppose if I put some boxes along, I'm wondering if I could even just, I suppose the safest way is go through the roof, have it hanging, and then just stick like the plants on it. Even if I just did one wall along there, I'd love that with plants hanging down just on that one wall there, that boring wall, because I just hate boring walls like all these ones. Or even if I got painted it or something. I wonder if they care if I painted see how that corner, this side's bright and this side's dark. I'd love to paint that side dark and have that one bright, or this one dark and have that one sort of shaded. I love the idea of contouring your own walls with different shades of the same colour. So if you have red walls, have sort of a lighter red and a darker red, and contour it. Because I used to draw a lot of those pictures, which were kind of inspired by a classroom friend I had who used to do a lot of zany sort of drawing and stuff. But I looked at his earlier drawing, it was just like mine. So he was a year older than me, so it was a bit hard on me because I always felt like I was trying to copy him, but I wasn't. It looked like I was trying to copy him, but I was just trying to keep up with his style because I think we have a similar drawing style. We must have, at some point in history, gone to the same art school or something. So, yeah, we must have been friends in some art school somewhere long ago, and somehow he's got ahead a year. And yeah, when he came into my year, it was a bit challenging having older kids sort of challenging me in humour and art, but and music, and I was probably a bit ahead of him in music at the time. But I did, before that, I did the accelerated class year 11 when I was in year 10, so I kind of did that. Maybe they got me back and put him in our class because they didn't like me being in theirs. You know, I often think that. You know, that's why I forgave them all for sort of getting me on the drugs and doing all that, because I thought, oh well, just my life. It's what it's sort of like an urban way of taking lotus petals you would if you're in China or Chinese sort of village or something. They used to take lotus petals to feel enlightened. It was a gentle form of poison or some chemical like THC or something you find in marijuana. So when they introduced me to the drug scene, the rave parties, I was right into music, so I jumped onto it. But I didn't want the drugs. I just wanted to go along and enjoy the music because I was really quite imaginative in my mind. I used to imagine a lot of stuff, listening to music on the train, on the bus. I used to put my headphones on and pretend I was in a movie. So when I got into the scene and I was, I didn't take money, but they sort of scrounged around, got me a trip. I took it, and I was in that environment with all the digital music. It felt like pins were jumping out at my face, and then the walls were all moving like this, swirling. Everything around me was swirling. It was probably just in my head, but the whole room felt like everything was swirling. But then I started thinking, this other guy that we were with flipped out thinking he was the walls and that, and then he lost himself, and then he come over to me and goes, oh, am I the walls or am I myself? Oh, am I dead? He sort of flipped out at me and said, oh, we're dead, aren't we? And I just went, boom, holy shit. Because I wasn't thinking that at all. I was just thinking, wow, wacky dude, look at the walls spinning. But yeah, it flipped me totally out. And that's when I crossed over for a second and saw my soul and saw the spirit world for the first time. And it's not the best way to do it. You should be in love with your wife when it happens. Whether you take drugs or not, you should have that loving partner, someone to support you, and the other side to support you, because I didn't have the other side there, I was just on my own with my family. That's where I ended up, fighting my way back from hell. That's a painting I drew. That's my family watching on. So yeah, it's kind of funny that, they weren't together though, but kind of mum and dad, because of what happened to me, maybe it helped them find peace, so maybe it helped save the family in a way that mum and dad would remain sort of friendly to each other, not hate each other, or but anyway, I let all that go now. Everyone's just individual. We've all got our own lives. We're all old enough to do what we want. And, Dad upsets me sometimes. He shows no interest, but I just sometimes wish he'd come over and say, let's go camping, but he's too old. He don't want to do anything. I'm like, come on, Dad, do something. Anyway, I do all this stuff and he doesn't even really show any interest. It just upsets me a bit. Like I said, I finally realised I actually have a Cert 4. I didn't know. I looked up my vet table. I got a Cert 4 and I'm qualified to get a proper job, I didn't know. I've been going the last 20 years not knowing I had a qualification. I didn't check my vet status because I dropped out of a school, but I must have done enough study. I dropped out because of health reasons, but I must have done enough study to pass the whole thing. I think they should have given me my creative arts one. They were a bit mean there. So I almost finished it. Look, I qualified as an artist a billion times over, I mean, just look at that. Look at the fish. I mean, that's like Brett Whiteley or what's his name does the banana. So And the fact I put it with the fish and with SpongeBob is just fantastic. But now I'm onto this stuff, electronics. Got me little thing going. This is my new art form, electronics. I really want to knuckle down. I don't think electronics is reading a lot of books. I don't think electronics is even sitting down and trying to work out what capacitors do or resistors do all the time. I don't think it's even working out how to draw circuit boards. I think it's about using electronics more. And that's what I've been trying to do, is use as many different things as I can to get a gauge of how they actually function. Like, especially computers, like the depths of what you can do with them. I don't hack, but I really get into the nuts and bolts of what's achievable with different things and what upsets them, and I watch the voltages. I have this sort of mindset now where I'm like doing solar. If I read that in a book, I wouldn't understand what all that meant. But doing it, troubleshooting, finding out the little nuances, how many things I can plug into this bank. You know, I've got probably 3 or 4 or 5 things plugged in, and it's working fine. It charged up fully today, and it's charged fully now. It's got 3 lights. The solar's off, but it's still running at nearly 13 volts, which is fantastic. As long as it doesn't dip below 12, it's fine. You know, if it got to 12, I'd probably switch it off, but I could leave the fridge going because it runs off the little lithium battery there. But like, if I didn't buy all this stuff, I'd have no idea really how to do it. You know, I wouldn't have worked out that the load goes to your fridge, you know, to protect your battery or anything like that. So, you know, using all these projectors, I wouldn't know. You got to put one there to there to there to get the good picture. And this one, you know, all these problems I found with the App Store. You know, using it, I can tell other people now, maybe don't get this one, look for something with, you know, the features you want with apps. If you don't care, get a Fire Stick or an Apple TV box or a NVIDIA box, which most people do with these big ones. Like, they're a bit cheaper than projectors, so save a bit of money getting a separate app box. So I think they're quite good. I just think there's nothing better than that picture. It is so good. You wouldn't get a better picture even on a Samsung. These are just fantastic. They put all their effort into the lasers. And I just noticed a picture on some of the photos. I thought, wow, because there's no scrolling. There's no lines. It's just a flat picture, you know. With the Samsungs, I think you get a bit of scrolling on the screen, you know. I think they don't put as much money into the lasers. They put more into the software, and the software's not that important. How many apps do you need? You probably need what? A video app and a music app and YouTube or something. So, yeah, I better feed these fish. So I'm prattling on again because I need a poo. I'm busting at the moment. I don't want to go in there with the camera on. But I don't want to switch it off yet because I was talking about this, yeah, the carousel. That's 13 minutes, gosh. All right, we'll see. I'm going to maybe save my pizza for tomorrow. That was the best pizza. It was so good. I'm tempted to have another piece, but I am actually full, so I won't.